Hello, hello, and welcome back to Trading Weekly. We've had a bit of a brand change. We're not the Trading Triangle anymore because it doesn't make too much sense. And we've taken a bit of a different direction. So all new graphics, all new everything. We've had 4 weeks off. We're both refreshed-ish, ready to go. I've been in Turkey. Kaye's been busy with the family. And yeah, how you been, Kaye? How's it been for the 4 weeks?
I mean, I've been amazing. 4 weeks have been crazy, I would say. I became a dad. So
Hey!
thank you. It definitely took a long time for me to, get things under control. So as much as control, it was a good 4 weeks of time off. I didn't take time off from trading, but we definitely, this break helped. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, starting back again.
Yeah, I think everyone in the chat should say congratulations for Kaye being a dad. So stick it in the chat if you're around. Obviously, subscribe to Trading Weekly, not Trading
Trading
Triangle
weekly.
on YouTube this week. So I'll stick that on the screen there for you. A massive thank you to Wolf Financial as well. Let us use a platform in the top right-hand corner. And of course, we're just a couple of guys looking at charts on the internet. So don't take our advice as gospel. It's just a bit of fun. We like to give our perspective on charts, and hopefully you get a bit of value out of it. Maybe you learn a thing or two as well. As always, put your ticker requests in the comments as well, so we can get to them a bit later on once we get through all the kind of normal stuff. And yeah, how's your trading been in the last 4 weeks? I know we touched on a few human bits there, but just let's talk about
Yeah,
that.
I mean, the trading has been, I wouldn't say awesome. It's been here and there. A lot of some misses, some gains. I was actually waiting for the earnings season to kick it off because now at least you'll get some kind of a direction while trading. But we are already at all-time highs. There are a couple deals, I would say, in stuff like what is that? Google, probably Amazon. You could probably get some. I know you're covering Google today, so we can hear what's
Yeah,
going on. We saw that massive dump with HIMS, where HIMS was
yeah,
almost
yeah.
like
Wow.
going berserk. Palantir keeps climbing up, and we were in greed when we left. When we paused a month back, the fear and greed was in greed. Now we're in extreme greed. Um, Generally, the July month is great for trading, so let's hope that is true. We'll see, but it has been on and off. How about you?
Yeah, it's been a good kind of 4 weeks for me actually. I kind of had a bit more time to kind of focus more on the trading side of things. Obviously, I did have a bit of a break when I went on holiday to Turkey, which was quite nice to kind of refresh the mind, get back to kind of basics and have a look at a few things of how kind of doing life, not just trading, but kind of content wise and how much time I want to spend on it. And because I've recently changed jobs as well, so it's had to give me a bit of a different sort of kind of perspective on time, really. So it's been an interesting one. But yeah, the trading has been really well, kind of taking a bit of a step back, just managing my swing trades, doing some day trading here and there, which obviously the guys have seen on X as well. So you can follow us on X. So I'll just drop that down. Sean Trades _ there on the left, and obviously Invest K there on the right as well. So we do post quite regularly on X. So you can get all of our trading. But yeah, no, it's been a good 4 weeks. And we'll jump into the charts in a minute because I've noted out the last 4 weeks on the SPY and the QQQ. So you can kind of see it in its nice little box. So we can just talk about the price action kind of within that. And it's been quite eventful as well with the events. So what we'll do is we'll jump into the slideshow. I haven't actually shared the screen yet. So let me just try and get that sorted. Here we go.
And I think we have a comment from Buy It, Trade It. I'm lacking oil, but have not jumped in yet. Yeah, oil has been a pretty interesting, option. And if you look at ExxonMobil, I know we will kick it off. ExxonMobil is almost coming to the equal highs of mid-June. So I wouldn't be surprised if we can actually break through that. But that's the first resistance that's coming up over there.
Yeah,
So
it'd be interesting to see what happens. Maybe I can bring up oil a bit later on with a
yeah,
chart perspective. So
let me
add
just
it
put
to the
the
list,
oil in
perhaps.
there. Yep,
Yeah.
let me do that. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, we've got Hood here as well. Great to be here to learn. Yeah, that's what we try to do. At least, we give our opinions and thoughts. Whether you learn or not is a different thing. But I think we do all right with that. Let's go for last week's. We should have done the monthly, really, shouldn't we? Actually, the last 4 weeks. But of course,
Yeah, you are right.
this.
We should not have done weekly, but
So
that's what happens when you take a 4 week break and come back.
yeah, exactly. But this is the last week's performance. Obviously, we've got Nvidia up there nicely, 4%. Microsoft a good 2% as well, and a few flat stocks as well. We've got Apple, Google, Meta, Amazon relatively flat, and of course Tesla just above our heads there on the right side. Anything to kind of point out here? I know Palantir's done quite well, 6% on the week, and AMD as well, up almost 6%. So there is some names kind of popping out here and there. Are you kind of looking at separate trades, or are you kind of looking more as a market overhaul? Because personally, I'm looking at kind of separate names now, well, because obviously all-time highs, it's hard to buy the market.
Yeah. No, I'm also looking at different names. I generally don't invest that much into sectors, but individual names like, I mean, Nvidia trade has been in place for a long time. I'm looking to close some of those long dated trades like SoFi and stuff, which has done actually pretty well. But Nvidia has been really like, the stalwart from the last 2.5 weeks, actually, making all-time highs. And that has also propelled AMD, which had been, struggling for more than a year and a half now. So
Yeah.
that is a real winner over there, if you think about it.
My SMH position, which I just kind of have as a long-term position, is doing really well recently. Definitely reaping the rewards there. Might think about trimming some positions here at all-time highs. Have to look at the charts maybe a bit later on in this session as well if we go through some of that. Maybe talk through kind of our profit-taking areas, because what's the point of being in the market if you're not going to take profits? So with that, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the Fear and Greed Index. Of course, you mentioned at the beginning of this stream, sitting at extreme greed at 75. Last week, we were a little bit higher at 78. And you can see 1 month ago, as you mentioned there as well, we were just sat in greed 61, which actually is probably around about here-ish.
Yeah.
So we are in the territory of potentially selling, but we did hit, I think, 3 in extreme fear a couple of months ago. So there is always room, further room to the upside, of course.
I mean, can you believe that? If, let's say, you had just started investing when that hit, the Liberation Day, which was like April 4th or something like that, you would be sitting so handsomely on all those gains.
And these people that they think they just got in there, and they're going to think that the market only goes up. And that was me in 2020. So I got into the market in 2020. I didn't know anything about the stock market before that. Of course, it was all over YouTube. Everyone's on furlough, away from work. It was a terrible time for a lot of people, but it did get a lot of people into finance, into investing, into the stock market, which I think was a good thing. But they learned very harsh lesson, especially in the second to third month of July 2021. Not July. In 2021, second to third month, it was rough, and it got rougher throughout 2022 exactly. But yeah, what was I even talking about? I can't remember.
So all you're saying is that the market keeps going up, and I think the lesson that we all should learn, and even when you learn the lesson, it's not just learning the lesson; it's to actually keep it here somewhere in your front of the brain, that what ends up happening is every time you get into this bull run, and if you're trading and you have your profit margins, like whatever profit taking you want to take, take those profits, because I think I heard somebody, or in a book I read, like nobody got poor by taking profits. Now, of course, you will have a lot of people, some FinTwit influencer, like, no, you got to hold it. Yeah, but that's investing. That's not trading. If you're trading, different ball game. If you're investing, different ball game. So those are two. Don't mix those two topics. And most people, you will be very surprised, they actually are not able to differentiate between trading and investing. I think that's where most of the problem happens.
I think the important part of trading is knowing your risk going into the trade, so you know how much you're going to lose and how much you're going to make. Yes, of course, you let your winners run past the target profit point, but you need to take some at a certain point and stick by those rules and those discipline. Whereas investing, if you like the stock, you've done your kind of due diligence into the fundamentals, then you can just keep that stock for as many years as you want because you like the company, you like how it performs. Obviously, there's got to be a kind of a margin of safety as well, of course. Maybe it's a stop loss, a fairly safe point once it gets up to a certain point. Perhaps like Palantir at 80 if you bought it at 50, for example. But yeah, no, it's always worth having that margin of safety set if you are investing for long term.
Yeah,
that's it. Anyway, kind of waffling a little bit. Let's move on to the next slide. Upcoming earnings. We are kicking off basically earnings season as we come back. So that wasn't actually on purpose. That just kind of worked quite nicely, didn't it, Kaye?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So we've got ASML, which I believe is your pick for today. They are reporting earnings before they open on Wednesday. We've also got Netflix there after the market on Thursday. And they're kind of the biggest names, I think, on the screen. You might have Taiwan Semiconductor as well.
Yeah.
Before the market on Thursday. Did we have banks already? Or was this...
Yeah, all the banks. If you look at the before open,
Tuesday.
let's say Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, and then you have US Bancorp on Thursday. I believe American Express is on Friday.
Yeah.
So, and BNY on Tuesday, you have BlackRock, Citi, Wells Fargo, State Street, BNY. So basically, this is the real week of kicking off the earnings season. A lot of big names here.
We came back at the right time, didn't we?
Yeah. Exactly.
It'd be interesting to see how
United
Netflix
Airlines,
is
another
doing.
one. Sorry, United Airlines on after close.
On what day?
CPI PPI also coming up this week. Yes.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's going to be a busy week then, isn't it, for sure?
Very busy.
I'd be interested to see how Netflix is going to be doing after their recent changes in the last 3 or 4 quarters, because they've actually been doing really well in terms of the stock price.
I just want to hear when are they going to do a stock split, because it's getting ridiculously impossible to trade options on Netflix.
I've got to write that one down as a little bit of a note
that's
for a future.
That's what I'm actually hoping for, because it's like a $1,300 stock. I cannot trade options on it. I mean, I can, but I don't want to.
Do you reckon that's a good thing for Netflix stock?
I mean, I honestly think it will open up the retail traders to be able to trade the stock more, right? Because you will have, no matter what we say, hey, there's fractional investing there, but sometimes, there is a mental block when you're buying a $1,300 stock, because $100 you put in a $1,300, it's practically moves nothing in your account. But when you can buy a $100 stock, at least you can see one quantity. So sometimes materially doesn't make any difference, but it's not always material difference. Sometimes it's the perception of that, yes, you are moving in the right direction. That's what I think, personally.
Yeah, well, we'll see if that happens on Thursday after the market close, because we thought about it in the last days. I remember us talking about it.
Exactly.
And then obviously they didn't mention anything. Maybe this time they will.
If you think about it, right? I'll give you an example. Most recent example has been Amazon. So I remember Amazon before the stock split was trading at 2,500, 700. Nobody was talking about Amazon, right? No. Nobody was talking about Amazon. Not on Twitter, not on YouTube, nothing. It was dead. It was only institutional investors. The moment they did the stock split, you started able to have retail investors and traders be able to access the stock. So that's, I think, if Netflix has to get back to the Mag 7 or FANG, label, it has to, kind of sort of, do a stock split so we can start trade more often.
Increase that volatility.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we'll move on to the next slide then, which is our past performance. 4 weeks ago, I picked Reddit, and 4 weeks ago, you picked GitLab.
Oh my God!
GitLab didn't do very well on earnings, did they? Let's put it that way.
What did I forgot what it does. Did they say they will do good, or they would go down? I don't remember it anymore. But
I don't know.
That's fine. That's fine. It's not like it would have made a much of a difference between 4.9 versus 3.10. So same thing.
But either way, I mean, Reddit went up 15% that week, so it wasn't. It's going to be hard to beat that. So, yep, another one on my kind of notch on my belt there. I did correct a few earlier ones though. So those 2 Apple calls that you shorted, I made them green on your side there. So you do have a couple more points there for now. Anyway, we'll see where that lead increases next week with our picks. Obviously, I've got Google this week, and Kaye's got ASML. So yeah, and I don't know, should we talk about a bit about what we're doing on our channels now, or should we leave that up to a bit later on?
Up to you if you want to bring it up.
We'll do it at the end.
You can take it off if you want.
What we'll do is we'll go through SPY and QQQ and then our charts, and then we'll talk about what we're offering a bit later on. Just because it makes a bit more sense. So this is the first chart of the day, and before we jump into it, make sure you put your ticker requests in the comments. I'll leave it up on the screen there, because we've had a few already, but we haven't had quite a lot, as much as we used to, at least just yet. So yeah, go ahead and stick them in the comments. We do appreciate that. We can take a look at the stocks for you. So this one up here is the SPY on the daily chart. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, the box here is basically the left side of the box is where we left off. So we can see the price action in the first week near enough was quite negative. And of course, we've just basically gone up straight from there. And of course, since we last were on air about a month ago, we've gone up 3.69% for the SPY. Obviously, we're at all-time high territory. We might have a slight double top performing here in the last 6 days or so. But we do have the nice little kind of 20 moving average, because floating up nicely here above that previous all-time high line. So there's a bit of support here. We do have the volume profile down here a little bit as well. What are your thoughts on the SPY and its movements at the moment?
So I think there are a couple things that might coincide with whether we see a pullback or we see a continuation. So number one is, of course, the earnings season is kicking off, which means that the real strength of the future guidance of the companies will kind of sort of drive the narrative of whether S&P continues to make all-time high or we start to see a pullback. Second, of course, the 90-day pause on the tariffs are coming to an end or has already ended now. I don't even know. We have an August 1 deadline. So as we start to maneuver the next 2 weeks, August 1 will be right around the corner. So if United States goes ahead with the tariff, whether you believe the consumer pays for the tariff or the country pays the tariff, doesn't matter. The stock market will definitely pay for it, 100%, because there will be a pullback. Whether we'll see the pullback all the way to the Liberation Day, I don't know that's going to happen. But even from the current level, if you see the gap, right? You see the gap around the 569. That drop is about what? 8%, 8.5%, 9%, right? Yeah, exactly. That's good enough for a drop. And I really think if you have not been able to take advantage of the previous drop, when this drop comes, you should definitely take an advantage.
Yeah, I think that's a good case of just be aware of both sides. It's very easily within this market structure, this kind of market trend, to think, oh, okay, my stocks are just going to go straight up. It's brilliant. However long this lasts, this is great. But just be wary of where your stock can go if it was to take a bit of a turn with, tariff news, or if it be kind of guidance on earnings or whatever, or even just a CPI report, which is obviously, of course, coming up this week. Anything like that, just be cautious of where your stock could go to the downside, or against you at least, should I say, whether you're shorting or going up, of course.
Yeah.
I've always got my risk levels in place. I've always got my stop losses in place. And if it triggers, that's trading. But from a long-term perspective, I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the kind of stream that we've got running here. It's okay to take profits on certain stocks. It's not the end of the world. Just take a little bit off the table. I'm not saying do that right now, of course. The stock market could go up another 5-10%, but it's worth thinking about at least, from my thoughts at least. SPY we've touched on there. We'll move on to the QQQ, which is basically the same chart.
Same chart.
We're up 4.49% since our last stream. Lots of volume here on this. It's slightly different actually compared to that one because the volume's kind of a bit further down. But in this one, this gap here looks really appealing if we do get a bit of a downturn. It's 530-ish. Lots of volume, 50 moving averages coming in nicely there, and obviously the gap fill there. So if we do get a bit of a downturn in the next couple of weeks, whenever that may be in the future, that'll be definitely a spot I would look to trade. I wouldn't add long term. I would just trade that sort of area.
And keep in mind that gap that you're showing is right at the 200-day SMA.
This one here.
QQQ. Yeah.
This one's a bit further down. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely worth mentioning. What moving averages do you use? Because I use the exponential.
No, I use the simple one.
Okay, yeah. So your 200 moving average might be a bit further down then.
Yeah. Exactly. Wow. So what I have also done is generally the 20, 50, 200 is a very standard one most people use. Nowadays, I also added a 300-day SMA because when you had those massive pullbacks, adding stocks at 300 SMA is especially good companies, right? There's a reason why, because of the irrational reaction in the market, if you pick up those, very good names at 300-day SMAs, that will really spur your portfolio in the right direction.
So I don't know if you realize, but I tagged you in a post over there on X around Alibaba. Alibaba is sat right at this 300 moving average because I've started using it as well because of your influence, shall we say. And Alibaba is obviously blasted straight through the 200 moving average to the downside, but it's just hovering around that 300 moving average, which is a point of interest for me for Alibaba. I know you're not too much into Chinese stocks, but I thought it'd be worth mentioning your name in that because, you opened it up to us, the stream, the viewers, etc. We'll move on to the other chart in just a second. I'm just going to take this down. What am I doing? There we go. Just before we jump into our separate charts, our picks of the week, shall we say, subscribe to Trading Weekly on YouTube chat and on our YouTube channel. It's not the Trading Triangle anymore. It's the Trading Weekly. Trading Weekly, not the Trading Weekly. It's gonna take a while for me to get used to that. I've been saying the Trading Triangle for about 3 years, so we've changed.
Trading
Let's put
weekly.
it that way.
Yes,
Exactly.
trading weekly.
4 weeks of not going live. Fantastic. This is going well. So my pick of the week is Google this week, and I've even kind of drawn out a potential trade long position here on the screen.
Is it GOOG or GOGL? Which one?
GOOG.
Okay.
The only reason I picked that one is just because it doesn't have the L on it. And that sounds rather ridiculous, but I like 4 digits.
Okay.
Anyway. So we've got a line here at 181.50. There's a little number in the middle there. This is obviously been a recent resistance for Google. And you can see on once, twice, 3, and almost 4 times. And we're just kind of tickling through there on Friday just gone. I think if we can break that, come back down and retest it, we make a move towards the 200 line, which is obviously very psychological. And there's obviously a bit of volume here to get through first, but I don't think it will find it too difficult to get through that. And then, of course, the blue line we see here is the gap fill. So that could be an ultimate target for me for Google. But I would like to see it at 200. Now, there's no... So when I place this trade, well, if I place this trade, if it gets into a position where I can place this trade, if it gets to kind of 197, 198, and it's kind of just stalling a little bit, there's no harm in taking, half the position there and obviously letting the rest run after that, because that's my strategy. There's no harm in taking at 197, 198, because you've still got the bulk of that profit, and it's just no shame in taking a couple of dollars below. I don't know if you look to do that. Do you take your profits maybe a little bit early before your actual initial target price?
Yeah, so like on earnings trade, I generally tend to take profits early because I've learned, especially when you're dealing with options and you're dealing with the theta decay, which is the time expiration of the contract. The closer it gets to the expiration of the contract, the value of the contract decreases at a much faster rate. So especially, let's say if you're doing an earnings trade and it goes in your favor, and let's say you are up 50-60%, don't try to squeeze in another 10-20%, because it might just reverse and you might be down 20% in like no time.
Yeah, we've had that a few times.
I did suffer that in my previous earning. Couple of trades did not go as well. So where I was making like 50-60% in profit, then it reversed course. Then I had to close with a 10% loss. So these things happen. So depending on the type of trade, if you're holding common shares, common stocks, it won't be that much of a problem. But options, it will really ruin your account if you don't take those profits.
I would say if you are holding shares through earnings, and you say you buy 100 shares, it goes up, like you said, like 20-30%. Some stocks do that. It's no harm in taking like 80 shares and then leaving 20 shares and just bring your stop loss up to break even, because then you've made the money. But I don't think that's a problem. I think most people do that. Well,
I'll give you an example for the next one, that the ASML that I'm going to trade. I'm going to give you. I'll show you why you don't want to hold those things like long term.
Awesome. Before we jump off, we'll just talk about the moving averages as well. There's lots of support underneath, as well as the trend line. Where's my mouse? There it is.
Let me ask you a question on this one. Since are you waiting for the breakout before you enter the position, or are you planning to enter at 181?
So that is a great question, and I am waiting for the breakout and retest, just because of the nature of this, how the stock has come into it. So you can see there's lots of higher lows, and it kind of moves up in a bit of a zigzag. So there's no reason why this won't break it and move again back down in the zigzag. Now, it might be 182, it might be 181, it might even be 180 to come back down, just maybe intraday. But that's kind of where I'd have to think about on the day kind of market structure as well. So getting in on the retest would be my main goal, I guess.
And Sean, you know that, right? Next week, 7/23 is their reporting earnings.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Google, at the very worst case, it would be like 7 or 8% down, or 7 to 8% up, even from what I've seen before. I don't know what the average movement is on the earnings. Perhaps you could get that one up.
I'll get that.
But for these big stocks, Amazon, Google, Meta, they don't normally go up or down more than 10%. Obviously, in special cases, we've had Nvidia up 10% before. We've had Netflix down like 15, 20%.
About 5 and 6%, you wouldn't say 6%, right? the upside. Plus
That's not
minus.
too bad then.
Yeah.
I mean, so for example, on that, I guess if you're going into earnings and say, we're going in somewhere around 190, if we have got into the trade, there's no reason why I can't cut half the position going into earnings and secure that profit, just for that kind of risk adversity of having, a 10% down day the next day, for example. So
Yes.
it's all about managing risk on trading. Anyway, I've spoken enough about Google. Before we do jump into your chart of the week, your pick of the week, if you are watching this, we have had a comment recently on kind of awesome, a few X accounts that provide value. That's really good comments. So appreciate your support there, FinXL. If you are in a position, then repost the stream. Why not? Especially if you're on X, of course. So do repost the stream, and I'll just bring up that comment as well. Provide value. Do you feel like we provide value, Kaye?
Thank you so much. I mean, I'll definitely. That's a great compliment, and that keeps us, coming back.
Exactly. We love the support that we provide everyone watching. So let's move on to your chart of the week then, okay? What you got?
Correct. So for this week, ASML is going to report earnings. ASML has been a sleeper pick for a long time now. So there are a lot of lines on this one, but I'll make it simple for folks to understand. So the actual move on ASML post earnings is about 5.6%. So you're looking at around $50 plus minus, depends how it moves. By the way, there are 10 down revisions, so that's something is to keep in mind. The revenue expected is about 8.8 billion. So the two lines that I have drawn, 849 and 756 from this place, is basically the top and the bottom shelf of the expected move or the actual move. Revenue 8.8 billion and EPS 611 is what is expected for this one. Now, generally, the way you can play any earnings is to use an iron condor, because it is not biased towards either side. Um, I would not recommend playing it, because when I was trying to put a trade for ASML on the iron condor, and because the price of the stock and everything, it's not worth the risk you will take on ASML unless you want to pick a direction. That might be a cheaper option to trade than if you're going iron condor. Iron condor would not be the best option to play this trade, because you would be risking $2,000 to get $350 or $400. That's not worth the RR is not great on this one. How would I play? I don't know. I'm still waiting on. I'm thinking on this how I can play this one. But again, I have this in the long term position. My cost basis is 669, so I'm from a long term position. I'm still sitting nicely on a handsome profit. If it pulls back to around the 756, I will definitely go ahead and add. But considering the strength we have seen in Nvidia and the semiconductor in general, I am kind of biased towards a bullish momentum. So moving towards more on the 849 side. So I might even look to open a call option will be expensive. So maybe like a call credit spread or something on that line. Or sorry, a put credit spread might be a better option to go with the trade.
You said about not sure how to go into or how to take it. Is there a possibility you just don't take it because you're not too
Yeah,
sure? You just don't want
absolutely.
to, yeah.
Yeah. Because there are so many other companies reporting earnings. I will be posting a trade on the United Airlines. That's a good iron condor trade that you can play. Uh, so that's why I'm debating. Maybe I won't take this trade, because you don't have to take every single earning trade.
No,
And,
of
and
course.
earnings is not for everybody to trade, because it's a very um, cut and dry, black and white situation, right? Either you will win or lose. It's
It's binary, isn't it?
yeah, it's a very binary, and it's not a gamble, but it's definitely in the realm of a gamble, right? Because if you pick a bias, hey, it's going to go up, you don't know what they will report.
I
That's
think
the
it is a
problem.
gamble, I think it might be a
That's what I'm
gamble.
saying. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not like a typical casino gamble, but it's definitely in the realm of a gamble, right? Very binary.
Yeah. No, I mean, from what I can see on the chart here, it doesn't appeal to me too much, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
From a very basic standpoint, you've got these peaks here, if you follow my mouse, around, I don't know what that is, maybe 780. So you've got 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, again over here as well. We've kind of come back down and retested it ish, but I would like it to come back down to kind of 780 or 770, if anything.
Mhm.
to get into it for a long. But then again, it does depend on what happens with the earnings. But yeah, I wouldn't be trading this one personally, but I do wish you the best of luck if you do get into it, if you do find that trade. But I think it's important for viewers to know that if you're a bit hesitant, you're not too sure what to go on a certain stock, just look away, go to a different stock, try and find something else, something a bit clearer, something that aligns with your values and your strategy. What I'm trying to say. But yeah, no, I think it's an interesting pick. Any other words for ASML this week?
No, that's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to the earnings for ASML.
Awesome. So it's Google versus ASML for this week, back after 4 weeks off. Let's see if Kaye can get another notch on the board. Obviously, congratulations for us to obviously get over 2,000 views today. It was a pleasure to have you all on board. I know it's been about 4 weeks, so you probably don't even know that we're even live because it's been a while. But yeah, you can catch us in various places. You can catch me on X, YouTube, and Substack. So I've got a video that came out yesterday on my YouTube channel about bigger profits. There's about 5 or 6 tips on how to get bigger profits. So go ahead and check that one out. Kaye, what have you got going on at the moment?
Well, I'm pretty active on X right now, and I continue to post my weekly trades on Substack. On YouTube, I'm taking a little bit of a break until I get the house in order and with the baby and everything. But eventually, I'll pick back on YouTube in maybe a couple of weeks or so. But it'll still be active. You can catch me on X and Substack.
Awesome. But we've always got content coming out on one of these platforms. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe to both of them, and obviously subscribe to Bull Financial if you're not already. They're basically the hub of financial industry on X and kind of FinTwit, shall we say. So go ahead and subscribe. Well, not subscribe, follow, should I say, on X. I get confused between subscribe and follow. You can do both. It's basically the same thing anyway, isn't it? Right, should we get into some charts then for this week?
Yes, let's do that. So we had a couple requests. We didn't have many requests today. So what we can do is we can go through the first request, and then we can pick up some tickers that are the big names like Tesla, Nvidia, all those kind of names.
Yeah, maybe some of the kind of more popular ones like HIMS and Palantir.
HIMS, Palantir, Hood.
Yeah.
Hood were, both Palantir and Hood were your. We can even go NEO. We haven't touched NEO in a while.
Yeah, we could do that. They're looking not too bad actually at the moment, so I wouldn't mind talking about them.
Yeah, exactly.
So far, yes, I've been making a bit of money them recently, which is good. Good to see. Right, so
that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm 175% up on SoFi. It's like you don't need a lot of you don't need to have always a big winner tickers. You can just use the same tickers and still make decent money on it.
So how many tickers do you have on like your short list? So like your ones you keep going back to?
So what I have, probably 8.
Okay, that's a fair amount. I think I've always given the advice to kind of beginners to maybe start out with 2 or 3. Get used to how they move, how they react to the market and news, and how much they kind of go up and down every single day. For Google, for example, it goes up probably 1 to 2% a day, up or down. Yeah. But there's other stocks like HIMS will go up between 4 and 10% up and down every day. But it's interesting to see that you've got 8 stocks kind of on your list, near enough. At least.
What I do is I have a different type of watch list, right? So for example, my one watch list is weekly options, right? So then that has like a 15, 18 names in there. Then there's a big 8, which actually have 11 stocks in there. But big 8 basically is the Mag 7 plus some big names like ASML and all these, right? Then you have an AI sector. Then you have fintech and crypto and all that. So Mara, Hood, SoFi are all on those. Then there is, of course, the index funds one, just to see how the trend is going on. Not necessarily I want to trade anything. And then there is one called On Radar, which basically I pick up ideas from here on X during our live. But some of those stickers people bring up, I necessarily don't trade them, but I don't want to miss them. So I put them on Radar, and so that I'm building that list, not to trade, just to see and what's going on.
How they perform. Yeah. I can actually show you my watch list now, because we're going to go into the charts in a second. Obviously, Robert Ellis here, IONQ, we'll go through that in a second. I don't know what's going on with my laptop. There we go. It's on the screen.
Yeah, I'm
where's my chart?
Yeah.
My laptop is dying. I need to get a new one very shortly. I don't know if I'm going to make it through the stream, actually, but we'll see how it goes. We are on SPY, but if we have a look at my watch list first, because we were talking about that. This is my FTMO watch list, which is obviously my prop firm trading. So this is kind of my day trading side of things. So you've got the Mag 7 there and all of the futures pretty much. I don't trade all of these, but it's just nice to know what's going on in the market. And then I've got my blue list, which is basically my short list. And that's just things going on at the moment. These are the stocks that I'm in. I'm currently in at the moment, and then of course listed. I do have positions in other stocks as well, but these are ones I'm kind of actively trading, should we say. And then I've got the big watch list as well, which is, like you say, kind of the stocks that I add. Well, this is my laptop. The stocks that I add throughout these streams, I mean, it's just loads of the stocks.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So I think everybody has a different way of creating watch lists, and there is no right or wrong. What works for you is the right way to do it. So you could create as many watch lists as you like, and maybe not make it too complicated, like have 50 tickers in one watch list, like kind of segregate it, because then that way you can kind of say, oh, within AI, these are the tickers I'm watching. Within oil, I'm watching these tickers and stuff like that. That definitely helps.
Yeah, for sure. Right, I am trying to get things done, but my laptop is freezing. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, no problem.
Yeah, I'm trying to get things moving, but it won't click on certain things.
Oh no!
I'm going to stick that on the screen so you can subscribe to Trading Weekly on YouTube, and I'm going to hope to try and get this. So what's first, Kaye?
The first one is TEM, Tempest AI.
Tempest AI. This is one I haven't looked at for a little while. Send help, honestly. Look at this. It's loading.
Oh, wow. I think you definitely need to.
I'm still running on the Intel chips. That's what it is.
Oh man, you need a new one then. Intel has been doing well though. I have to say that.
Yeah, not for my laptop.
Not for your laptop. I agree. So TEM.
Right. This is 10%
Finally.
AI, and it's loading. It's still very slowly. What have I got open? I've got nothing. Let's get rid of Discord.
Yeah, Discord eats a lot of resources.
So Tempest AI, we're kind of running into the 200 moving average here. Yeah, well, it's gone now. Coming back down to the 200 moving average, which is interesting, and obviously the previous trend line as well. So it could be a bit of a point of interest down here at 53 or 54. But I don't trade it much. It's Pelosi stock. I know people like it, so it'll be interesting to see how. Okay.
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. No problem.
Oh, okay, right. Could you hear anything I was just saying there?
Yes, we did. It's coming back to 200-day SMA. SMA or EMA?
Yeah.
What do you have? SMA? EMA?
EMA.
EMA. So 200-day EMA. That's what I was thinking. Like, well.
Yeah, it's come back down to 200 moving average. There's a previous trend line there as well. So that 53, 54 level is not too bad for perhaps a little bit of a bounce. Is this one that you look at much or not so much?
No, not much. I know this was a pretty big one on Nancy Pelosi's tracker, right?
Yeah. So I was saying that, but maybe it didn't come through on the stream.
No, because you told me about this one before. That's why I remember.
Right. Cool.
Yeah,
So
it was Nancy Pelosi. Yeah.
What's next?
Next is CRISPR Therapeutics, CRSP. This was a pretty hot stock in Cathy Woods, and seems like it did take off recently. Maybe that is the reason for the interest.
Looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah, I didn't even know this stock was taking off. Nice bounce here, this trend line that I've drawn at some point. I'm not sure if I can be heard. Can you put in the chat, not you, but anyone listening or watching, that if you can hear me clearly? Because I'm not sure even you can hear what I'm saying, Kaye, sometimes.
You are breaking up, but I'll wait for the folks to respond.
I've got to try something very quickly. If I put this here.
Can hear you. Okay, so at least someone confirmed they can hear you.
I think that might be at the top of my list is the new laptop. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, it's
Yeah, they
okay.
can hear you. Yeah.
Right.
This is exactly what happens when you come back from a break.
Yeah, I've been sluggish for a while, but I'm better now. Maybe my laptop is cooling down slightly. I do
You
actually.
need to spend that some money on Apple, right? So that Apple stock can go up now.
I put the fan on the laptop. There you go.
Oof. Okay, you need a new laptop if you need to put a fan like that.
I need a new laptop if I want to stream. Yeah, no, this fan is brilliant, Kay. I don't know what you're talking about. It's actually awesome for the
No,
fans.
I'm saying if you have to put a fan on your laptop, boss,
Oh
you need
yeah,
a new laptop.
yeah. There you go. That's clearly the issue. There's so many problems with this laptop. Anyway, we digress. We're looking at CRISPR here, CRISPR Therapeutics. Not doing too bad actually. I mean, you mentioned that obviously this is Nancy Pelosi related stock. It's been
No,
flying recently.
not CRISPR. It was Tempus.
Oh, but I think Nancy Pelosi does like. Oh, not Nancy
CRISPR as
Pelosi.
well. Okay.
No, what's the other one?
Tempus.
Kathy Wood. Kathy Wood.
Kathy
I'm
Wood.
trying to say.
Yeah, this is Kathy Wood's. She's the OG on this one, I think.
So you can see here, this is the weekly chart. So it's finding a little bit of resistance at the 200 moving average. Spending those profits. Yes, I love that. If it's spending the profits on the new laptop, yeah, I will do that. Don't worry. Yeah, so we've got a bit of resistance here naturally, obviously at the 200 moving average. But if we can get through that, it's basically no stopping us until 70, 71. Are you seeing that as well?
I do, but I can't believe the stock was trading at almost $190 back in 2021.
That was one of the stocks that kind of went up with that mad rush, wasn't it? The
Yeah,
hype rush. Yeah.
yeah.
All of the genomic stocks did. You had what are they called? Intellia Therapeutics, I think it's one of them.
Something like that. And this is part of Kathy Wood's ARKG
Yeah,
ETF. The ETF was trading at $112, $107 back in 2021, and now it's trading at $25. So if you invested in this ETF, we definitely want CRISPR to go up if you want to recover those losses.
yes, 100%. Yeah. But where it's going, if we can get through this resistance, then up to kind of 68, 70, I would say, something like that. What's next, okay?
It's IONQ.
It's a quantum stock. I missed out on the most recent kind of push out of the wedges. Oh, no, it's come back down actually. Okay, so this is one that I would look for a retest of the previous trend line, which I would just draw here now.
So this stock has a 13.5% short interest.
Okay, that's not as high as some others. I know SoFi at the moment has quite a high short interest, doesn't it?
SoFi always has remained high in short interest. Like, yeah, same 13.4 SoFi.
What I would be careful of is this trend line break to the downside because it has followed that trend.
You know what I don't like in this
nicely for
chart?
a while.
What I don't like in this is an engulfing candle. If you look at the hard sell on this candle, the last one, it's not a
This one,
great.
what, Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not great. I don't think it's engulfing, is it? Because it's not part of this structure here. But it's come back down to 20 moving average. It's floated around 20 moving average for a few weeks around this sort of period. I do see it potentially breaking down towards this level here, maybe 39.40. Could be an interesting spot to get in, but it'd be very risky because if it does break that, then we're looking more down towards 32, and that's a percentage you do not want to lose.
I mean, you can play a call credit spread on this one. You can still make money on this one.
There you go. That's a potential option. Maybe you can write that
Yeah,
in a tweet at some point.
if it's breaking the structure, then might as well short the stock, right?
Yeah. All right then. What's next?
Next is a V. I think it's Visa.
We're doing everything in slow motion now.
We have so let's see. Did we miss any? RBRK, and Verla is here. Sorry guys, I'm late. How are you doing? We are doing great.
So
Good to see
Verla
you
is the one that came up with, I think, CRISPR and what was the other one we just covered?
back. Tempest AI.
Tempest, CRISPR and Tempest. So we covered that a few minutes ago, Verla. So if you did miss it, then you can catch it on the YouTube channel. Just scroll back or scroll up to about 43 minutes or something like that. I think we're
Okay.
going to have to cut this early because my laptop is frying up. Not now, not right now, but we'll cover a few more stocks on the screen now.
Okay.
Because I
Is that
think
Visa?
this is Visa, yeah. Coming back down to the trend line, as you can see there, it's a trend line that's been set in there for quite some time now. So let's zoom out, or let's try and zoom out. This must be so annoying for the viewer. There you go. So this one's been set in from October of last year. So it's respected the trend line pretty well, apart from here. Obviously, this is a very dramatic time for a lot of stocks. So, you can kind of rule that out as a bit of a trend line touch. But for example, if you put that on the 2-week chart, that would look like a very nice candle. In fact, let's do that. Let's do that now. Why not? It's
I'm
important
trying
to
to find
stick to
why
charts.
we had such a big selling on Friday. I don't see any specific news. It's July
What
10th. Okay.
what was the
Apple
finance
Visa
industry like?
Mastercard secure court victory as judge dismisses merchant fee suit. So that's a good news. Then why did we have a sell off? I have to read this through.
So as I was saying there, the 2-week candle you can see is a really nice wick on this trend line. So it's not always about the daily chart. Sometimes you have to zoom out to the 1 week and 2 week just to see a bit more perspective. At least in my opinion. I don't know about you.
No, I agree with you on that. I mean, see, every time scale gives you a different perspective. On a daily or a 4 hour, you might see a downtrend or an uptrend, but on the weekly, it might be a completely different story altogether.
Exactly. It's important to play with those time frames, see what kind of looks good, what kind of fits with your trading style, your strategy, etc. Visa not looking too good, losing the 20 and the 50, potentially making its way down to the 200. But if it does make its way down to the 200, that is a trend line break without the volatility that we saw in April, which doesn't sound great.
Yeah, and they report earnings in about on 29th. So you're like about 15, 16 days from here onwards.
Okay, so we've got a little while to earnings. Okay, so
Yeah.
they can recover a little bit. Okay, what's next then?
Next is QXO. Never heard of this one.
Oh, neither have I. $21. I don't even know what they do. Can you find out what they do
Yep.
for
I'm looking into
people? The chart
So
itself is not too bad.
they distribute roofing, waterproofing, and other building products in the US. It offers asphalt, metal roofing, wood roofing, tile roofing. It's basically a roofing
It's so
industrial.
random.
Yeah.
I love these streams, because you come up with these most random stocks.
No, because sometimes these are sometimes these names they will just pop out of nowhere, and you will realize. Then you wonder why did you miss these names? Not saying that this is going to run, but I'm saying is that this is how you get to know these random names.
Yeah, so if anything, if you want it to keep going up, I would watch this previous trend line. It's a massive drop. It's been through hell and back by the looks of it.
Oh my god,
Well,
this is
heaven and back actually. But this trend line that was set here, if you are trading it to the upside and you're looking for someone to take profit and you're willing to wait, this might be an area. It's kind of 31, 32 area. But I would probably, given this move lately, maybe keep a slightly tighter stop loss than normal. That's just what I would do. Not
you
financial advice, of course,
But
but
all I will also say this. This is crazy. There's a strong buy on Wall Street on this one. There's a strong buy on the quant. There's a buy
okay.
ready buy seeking alpha. So guess what I'm doing? I'm putting that on the on radar now because
I think I might do the same.
yeah, this looks a little
QXO.
interesting.
Look into the fundamentals at least. Oh my god, I can't even function the chart.
That's okay. Write it down on your paper so that you don't forget.
Oh yeah, I already have. Yeah, I've done that bit.
Okay,
I'm just
cool.
trying to get the chart back to normal so I can do the next stock. What is the next stock? Okay.
Next up is MNST. Sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is.
How many have we got left?
Oh, Monster Beverage. We got
Oh
two
yeah,
more.
Monster.
Yeah, we got two more after that.
Two more. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't really buy drink stocks. The same with Celsius as well. I've kind of played with it. I've kind of traded it a little bit, but essentially they are just drink stocks. It's not nothing
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, Celsius has its own run and own. I, I shouldn't say the word cult because it wasn't as big of a cult, but it still had its own set of retail investors who were like all in on Celsius, and then for some reason they just kind of like disappeared.
Yeah. From a chart perspective, obviously big resistance here, kind of 63, 64. So it's about $5 down from there. Coming back down to the 200 moving average, that would be definitely a point of interest for me as a trading point of view. Let's zoom out to the 2-day chart to maybe get a bit more volume on the screen on the right side here. We'll just zoom out a little bit like that. Then you should see the volume populate on the right side. Looks like maybe, yeah, there you go. The volume is populated. Is a bit at 57, but there's a lot more 55 around that 200 moving average for the 2-day chart. So maybe 55 is a little bit better because you've got obviously the recent bounce there as well on the screen, and then across to the resistance that was set there back in November of last year. So there's definitely interest around 55 for Monster. I'll write it down. I probably won't trade it, but you never know. If it looks good at the time, you might as
Well,
well trade it.
but it does give you a bearish signal, and the reason is that your 20 SMA is very close and touching to the 50 SMA, which does give you a bearish signal. That so you might even see a cross.
On the
Now,
daily, this
yeah,
one, yeah,
on
there
the
you go.
daily side, we are too far away from the 200, so there's no death cross involved at this point in time, but it definitely looks bearish.
That's definitely worth noting. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you can
And
see it. You can see it here on the right side when it crossed. It kind of continued going down.
exactly. And there is a gap between 53 and 54, I would say that. About $1 gap. So I wouldn't be surprised if it actually starts to break down and fill that gap down there.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, that's down here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems far, but when the stocks they start declining, they could fill those gaps pretty quickly.
Cool. Okay, what's next?
Next is RBRK.
Rubric. Yes, this is semiconductors, I think.
This also has a Wall Street strong buy, quant strong buy, seeking alpha buy, and they do, what do they exactly do? Yes, you're right. Solution for
Semiconductors. Yeah.
business where the company offers enterprise data protection, unstructured data protection, cloud data. So it's a protection, data protection company, SaaS based company. Rubric.
It's kind of creating a bit more of a bear flag at the moment, which is really nice to see. What we don't want to see is it come back down through the bottom level and to retrace back. I mean, you could see that, to be fair, if it does come back through the floor here, I would like to pick up some shares for a bit of a trade, potentially around 75, 76. But what I've been really looking forward to in this kind of bear flag structure is a break to the upside because it favors that a bit more if it does go to the upside. It tried on Thursday. It opened up that kind of level, but it really rejected hard off of that, which is interesting considering the likes of AMD and Nvidia continuously pushing up. So it's got a lot of work to do to get up to that sort of level, but definitely worth watching. I'm going to put that on the list actually, just to keep an eye on it, um, see how it goes. Well, okay, what's next?
Next is TMDX.
This one got ravaged, didn't it, about a year ago?
TMDX. Yeah, I mean, it sounds very familiar. Oh, transmitting. Right. Well, it's up 80% year to date. It's not that bad.
That's crazy. Yeah, actually, it has recovered quite nicely. Do you trade this one much?
No.
No.
I mean, I do have my lines here, so I definitely have looked into it, but I have not traded it. Man, I'm looking for. If you look, I mean, the way it's the Friday's candle was, it did not engulf it, but hey, it almost reached to that gap. I'm looking for that gap fill
Yeah, and
to
it's
have.
kind of down to the 200 moving average as well, isn't it? That kind of area.
Exactly. It's
That's where the volume starts to pick up as well.
You will not believe it's actually sitting right at the 300-day SMA. 111.58. Yes.
Is this one that you're going to be adding to your list?
No. I'll stick with I'll stick with a couple of them. I'm not a big healthcare sector investor or trader because I don't understand it that well. And I have no shame in admitting I don't enjoy healthcare as much as I enjoy other sector analysis.
It's not as exciting as others, is it? I mean, you've got TEM, which we looked at earlier, which has got AI involved, which makes it a bit more exciting. But
like, I mean, I worked in healthcare, and I kind of let me put it this way: I understand how things work in healthcare, like especially in the claims insurance sector. But it's not the most exciting thing. It's you go to the hospital, they file a claim, the whole drama happens. Not a big fan. All right, next is CEG.
CEG, we're going to finish on this one as well because it's coming towards the kind of hour mark, and my laptop is about.
Your laptop is just hanging by a thread.
Honestly, it feels like it is. CEG, so this is Constellation Energy Corporation, brought up by Options Trader. Just the name Options Trader. Yeah, nice to see you. Welcome. It looks like it's maybe looking towards a bit of a breakout potentially. If I draw this line here, do you trade this one much?
No.
So we've got this, obviously set the high kind of January, early parts of this year, and kind of we've dipped down quite handsomely down to kind of 200 level, which is actually really handsome. It's about a third off of the stock price, which is a bit alarming. But they have recovered quite nicely, and perhaps they may, going up to kind of all-time highs. It would be interesting to see. What I would like to see is a break of this trend line, to come back down and retest it, especially where the volume is, maybe come back down to 320-ish. And then make a move basically to 360, 380. Have to do a bit more due diligence and kind of research into where the stock could move and perhaps obviously what it's got going for in the news side of things. But as a setup, provided, it's not too bad.
It's a pretty interesting ticker because it's a dividend-paying company. It's
okay.
The market cap is $100 billion, so it's not a small name either. Right, the short interest is pretty low, 2.38. I did not know about this company until you just brought it up.
We've had quite a few of them today, haven't we? But the tickers that have come up and thought, actually, it's not too bad.
I think barring 2 or 3 that I knew personally, most of them I don't even know them. First time I'm hearing it. This is what I'm saying, that this is such an interesting 1 hour that we spend here. Is like most of the times you don't even know the tickers. Like everybody knows the big names, right? But these are some of those great names that pop out which you have never heard of. That's why I love doing these streams.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why we like to come back every week and try and provide as much value as we can and get ideas for us as well, as Kaye just mentioned. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in once again for another week. I know it's been a little while since we've done this, but we've come back refreshed and ready-ish. Kaye's got a new member of the family, which is fantastic, and I'm a little bit browner, so we're all good. We're all ready to go for the summer. Of course, really good session today, I thought. Kaye, do you think so?
I think it was a great, especially after 4 weeks of break. I think we are trying to get back into the groove.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you'll get your laptop at least some kind of a temporary fix for the next week. We definitely need your laptop, and I would say it will be an interesting week since we are kicking off earnings. Again, as we repeat every single stream, trade safely. If you don't like trading earnings, don't even trade. Just sit out. But yeah, just be safe for the next week.
I think that's well said. And just one last mention as well for Wolf. Actually, as a platform, we really, really appreciate it. Go check out him on X. I'm sure you're probably familiar with it, of course, already. And of course, obviously, you can subscribe to the Trading Weekly there in the bottom left-hand corner. You can see on the screen. And we'll see you over there on the YouTube channel. We've got a few things lined up for that as well. So do stay tuned for future episodes, not just the Trading Weekly, but future episodes in different areas. So we're back, and we're back with a bang. And it's all because of you watching and we really, really appreciate it. So yeah, see you next week, 1 p.m. Eastern time as normal. See you later, Kaye. See you later, viewers.
Take care, everybody. Bye.